you cannot assume that just because you found a study that supports your belief, that means that it's true. For those new to my channel, hi, I'm Dr. Josh. I'm trained as a neuroscientist and a licensed marriage and family therapist. And here on TikTok, I'm a science communicator that often shares some new and interesting studies that I come across. But just because a study has been published doesn't necessarily mean that it translates to real-life information. That's where things like peer review and replication become so vital to our understanding of the world around us. Peer review is the process of publication where people generally do a study, send their paper in for publication, and then peers who also have training in the same area review and confirm that the study was done in a good, robust way, that the findings will make sense based on how the study was done. And replication is the process of repeating somebody's study to see whether or not you, a different lab with different subjects, gets the same results. And this is where some of the problems with research studies start to creep in. We have a problem with paper mills, that's places that will just publish anything without peer review, and more recently, using technology to sort of circumvent the peer review process to publish what is essentially made up gibberish. In a very recent example, Science just published an article pointing out how a whole bunch of cancer research papers appear to mention cell lines that don't actually exist in real life. That suggests that these were sort of fake papers that were just being generated and put out there to get authors' names on things, for example, and to make money publishing stuff. And similarly, we have issues often with replication, especially with more complex ideas that are really hard to replicate in a lab. You can end up in a situation where you have a paper that says something is true, but without follow-ups to understand it, we come to bad conclusions. And a good example of that is the marshmallow test that I've done some videos on earlier, where early studies suggested that whether or not you wait to eat the marshmallow was indicative of some kind of internal self-restraint and control ability, when further studies revealed that that wasn't really the case. Now, I'm not saying to ignore research. That's something conspiracy theorists often do when they hear this kind of information. What I am saying is that sometimes you can find that the data doesn't support the conclusion and, in the worst case, is outright made up, which is why it's so important to understand that